Organizations and institutions have always had sort of their initiation rites. If you think about joining a fraternity or a sorority in college, you've got rush. If you think about joining the legal profession, you've got to pass the bar. And even religions all throughout history have had different sort of initiation rites. Hindus go down and cleanse themselves in the Ganges River, or for the Muslims, they make a trip to Mecca at some point in their life. Even Christians have this tradition, and it came from the Jewish roots of Christianity, that there was water involved, water as a sign of purification. So this symbol of baptism has been used by Christians for hundreds and thousands of years as not just an initiation rite, but also as a symbol of the faith that they have. But it's more than just a faith that they have. It's a sign of what they want to become. So in the Old Testament, there's a story in 2 Kings chapter 5 about a man named Naaman. And he was a foreign official. He was a high official in this foreign government, and he had leprosy, which basically meant that he had to be isolated from everybody. Nobody could be around him for fear that they would catch leprosy. But there was somebody in the kingdom who had been part of the Jewish nation, and they sent word that said, hey, there is a prophet back in the nation of Israel who can heal you of that disease. So Naaman went back to Israel and asked around, and sure enough, there was a prophet there who said he could heal him. And all he needed to do was go down into the river and dunk himself 7 times and he would be cleansed. Well, this really seemed offensive to Naaman. I mean, he even asked the question, hey, aren't there cleaner rivers back in my homeland than this river? I mean, it's kind of nasty. I don't want to get myself in that water. Besides, can't you just come down and say some magic words and like sprinkle me with some dust or something and then I'll be cleansed? But nonetheless, the prophet continued to say, nope, this is what you have to do. You have to dip yourself in the water 7 times. And so Naaman got in the water 7 times, in and out, in and out. And on the 7th time, not before, but on the 7th time, he was completely cleansed. Well, this was more than just a sign of the faith that he had in this prophet. It was actually changing him from the inside out. Because from that moment on, he said, I'm going to go back to my own country and I want to worship the one true God of Israel. I want to know how to do that. So this symbol of his baptism in those waters was really a change about his life and who he was becoming. Baptism is a symbol of who we are becoming. Then in the New Testament, John chapter 5, there's another story. Jesus goes down to this pool. It's called the Pool of Bethsaida. And there are all kinds of sick people all around the pool. But Jesus picks one guy out and says, hey, do you want to be made well? And this guy says, yeah, but I can't get in the water in time. Because the myth was that the first person who got in the waters after they stirred would be healed. But this guy couldn't walk, so he was never first in the water. And Jesus said, I am going to cleanse you. You are healed. Take your mat and go home. Well, the guy was miraculously healed. He got up, took his mat, and he went home. What's so interesting about this is that Jesus didn't tell him to go get in the water in order to be made whole. Jesus basically said, trust me to be the one to heal you. And so the guy actually had the faith to get up and go home. But on the way, some Pharisees stopped him and said, hey, what are you doing carrying your mat on the Sabbath? That's not lawful. And this guy totally outed Jesus and said, hey, that man told me to do this. So what you see in this story is you see 2 stories of water. One, somebody was transformed. The other, the person was healed, but they weren't changed at all. See, there's nothing magic about the waters of baptism. It's actually the faith that we have and how the faith inside of us manifests itself in our lives and in our actions with other people. Following Jesus is more than just going through religious rituals. The religious rituals are important. They're public symbols, but they're symbols of what we believe and they're symbols of what we want to become. If you want to know more about what it means to follow Jesus or to follow him in believers' baptism, I invite you to check us out online, ssbc.org. You can also join us for our beach baptism on August 22nd at Hanna Park. Grace and peace be with you.